Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Hindash and this is Timmy. And for today's video, I'm finally going to be doing my favorite concealers video. Yes! And these are concealers that I absolutely love. I think concealer is one of my top all-time favorite products, really. I love concealer. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram because I post a lot of makeup looks there too. Okay, so for today's favorites video, I've gathered concealers that I've been using for years and some new recommendations and things that are kind of similar to each other. I've included some more affordable options in there as well, but of course, these are all things that I absolutely love and things that I truly recommend. And if you don't see your favorite concealers here, it doesn't mean that they're not good. It's just that I've tried so many concealers and these are the ones that have really stuck with me for a while. I wonder if I should do this in order. I think I'm just gonna go build up to the top. Yeah, I'll build up to my top favorite. Okay, so the first concealer that I'm gonna be talking about is the Jeffree Star Magic Star Concealer. So I don't have the full color range, but I ordered a bunch of these on Beautylish because I wanted to test the formula and just, I was curious because concealer is my favorite makeup product. This is a really good concealer. The formula is incredible. The reason why I'm talking about it first isn't because it's my least favorite, but because technically that's how I said I was gonna order this. I know these are a bit of a controversial product, but I think that's the reason why I'm talking about them first. These are all really great concealers. I mean, it isn't like rating from 1 to 10 because this is a favorites video. But if you're a fan of Jeffree Star, I think out of his entire collection, these are really worth trying. So what I really like about this is it feels like the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer with the Tarte Shape Tape mixed together. It just lifts the eyes, it brightens, it covers everything. It's a really good concealer. I think a reason why I don't really use this is because the packaging is so bulky, so I end up never really packing it in my kit. Because I started thinking about why I don't really use these, and I think that's it. The packaging is a bit bulky, but for personal use, it's a beautiful concealer. Okay, the next concealer that is one of my absolute favorites and the oldest. I think this is one of the first concealers I've ever tried, and it is the MAC. And it's the concealer that's in the MAC Correct and Conceal palette. This is their OG full cover concealer. What is it called? Full cover concealer. These are the same classic MAC concealers that come in the round pot, like the eyeshadow. And it is basically their iconic product. I love this for spot concealing. It really covers everything. It's a perfect concealer palette to have in your makeup kit if you're an artist or for personal use, because if you get this one, you kind of can use it all year round. If you're tan, if you're a bit light, you can color correct with it, and they come in shades for every single skin tone. So this one here is the Pro Conceal and Correct palette in medium. So this one is the light one. And then this one is in medium deep. And my favorite one is the extra deep. I've used this so many times. This is such a good concealer palette for deep skin tones. That's the extra deep and the light. So imagine having all these four in your kit. I think there's one in between. I think there's more. I'm gonna double check. And it's such a good formula. It's very creamy. It sets. You can powder it. You can leave it more dewy. You can mix it with different moisturizers, with oils if that's what you like to do. It's a very versatile product, and that's why it's one of MAC's top products. And speaking of cream concealer palettes, I'm going to be talking about the Mercier Secret Camouflage Concealer Palette, one of my all-time favorites. This is a makeup artist cult favorite too. I don't have all the colors to show you now because my other kit is in my studio, so these are kind of what I have lying around. But the Mercier Secret Camouflage concealers are so good. They tend to be on the drier side, so you really have to work them with your fingers. And if you're using a brush, you kind of want to work it at the back of your hand a bit to warm up the product. But that's what makes this perfect for breakouts. Any breakouts, this will basically cover that whole thing up. You have more of a peachier side and more of a yellow side. They've really thought a lot about the colorways in these. They come in so many different colors too. And when I did Naomi Campbell's makeup, she told me that this is the only thing she uses. She doesn't wear foundation. This is what she uses all over her face and to conceal as well with a sponge. And I was like, damn, this is such a good concealer. So compared to the MAC one is more creamy and this is more on the dry side, but you really need to work it in with your fingers to melt that product. In terms of color correcting from the drugstore, I really love these LA Girl Pro Conceal concealers. In terms of colors, they have so many different colors and so many different color corrector shades. A lot of peaches, a lot of yellows, a lot of biscuits. And this is the peach that I'm holding, and this is more of a deeper tan. Actually, this one's called Beautiful Bronze, and you would use this to bronze and contour, which is what I got it for. They work beautifully, they're so affordable, and they blend like a dream. The colors are spot on, and that's what's very important. I mean, I look for color tone in concealers as well as formula. So yeah, these get a huge thumbs up from me, and a lot of people do love them, so I don't think they really need an introduction. Another concealer that I love from the drugstore is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. A lot of people rave about this, a lot of people have told me about this, and I have tried it. I love it. It's very creamy. It fits a lot of different skin types, which is what I also like in concealers. They have to fit a lot of different skin types, because if I'm working on a client and I don't know if they're oily or dry or combination, I need the concealer to really adapt to that as well. And these are great. My sister loves them. They're great to conceal with, to highlight, to contour, to bronze. You can't go wrong. And they have that NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer vibe too, which is, I think, what it was kind of modeled after. Okay, next, talking about more thin concealers, this is the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Concealer. These concealers feel so thin, they don't crease, they have amazing coverage, they brighten, they're really great for brightening your under eyes. And I love these. I mean, when I first used them, I thought the texture was so thin and it covered beautifully, and I've been a fan ever since. Again, they come in really great undertones for color correcting as well, so they're more peachy, they're more golden, and they're warm. But of course, you have your more neutral shades as well. So yeah, you've seen me use these so many times. I've used them to bronze the face, to brighten, and they really work well to really add warmth to the face as well, which is what I like because they're very thin. So they don't go crazy muddy if you're trying to bronze or contour with them. And yeah, since we're talking about this kind of formula of concealer, I'm going to show you other concealers that are the same vibe and same formula. These are the Makeup Forever Ultra HD concealers. I love them. They feel super, super thin. They don't crease. You don't need to set them if you don't want to. They are self-setting, which is great. The color selection is amazing. They're really made to brighten and lift the face. They do add that nice coverage to the skin. I really, really like these. It took me a while to try them, actually. It took me quite a while to try them, but once I've tried them, I have not let them go. They're in my kit, they're all over my house. And I like that the applicator is so thin, so you can really get in and do kind of like detailed highlighting and concealing. So yeah, big thumbs up. Another concealer that has a very similar vibe, that's very thin, it doesn't crease, and it kind of brightens and lifts, is the Benefit Cakeless Concealer. I use this in a tutorial today as well, and I'm wearing a bit of it right now. It's a really, really good concealer. It comes in so many different colors as well. This is such a thin concealer and it blends beautifully. A lot of thin concealers kind of can tend to really just stick onto the skin because they tend to be very long wearing. But this is a kind of concealer that would suit so many different skin types, like the other two as well, and I love it. The applicator is a tiny bit bigger, it's like a doe foot, but you can turn it to the side and get that edge, which, yeah, I'm usually not really picky about concealer applicators, so there's not much more to say. Next, I have the MAC Studio Fix 24-Hour Smooth Wear Concealer. Now this concealer feels super, super thin, but the difference is that this is a long wear formula, so it does have a dry down, and once it dries, it just lasts all day, 24 hours. I have used this on dry skin and it looked great, but it is definitely perfect for those with oily skin. I would really, really recommend you try this. It's very thin. It reminds me of one of my favorite MAC concealers, actually, the MAC Pro Longwear. I don't have it around anymore to show you, but that one, I've used that one for years and I love it so much. This feels a lot like that, but in a wand, which is easier to use because that pump was a bit of a nightmare. Very thin doe foot applicator and a ton of colors. I mean, it's MAC, so you know you're gonna find your shade there, and just an all over great concealer. If you're oily, check this out. Another concealer that blew me away, I love this concealer so much. It is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. Long name. This concealer could almost be a foundation. It's huge. You get so much product for what it's worth. It's such a good value for money. The colors are spot on. I love the colors. I love the tones. I love the formula. It feels kind of in the middle of a thin concealer and a more thicker concealer, a more creamy concealer like the NARS one. And it is really, really versatile. You can really use this as foundation. You can use this to bronze your face. You can brighten and highlight with this. Of course, it's like a contour concealer, but I love this concealer. It's in my kit always. I always pack it. I have all the colors and it works on every single skin type. Perfect. I love the shade Honey to warm up medium skin tones, which is this color right here. The deeper tones are perfect. The applicator is massive. Okay, maybe I'm overreacting because there are bigger applicators, but it's perfect. It's great. I love it. The finish is beautiful. You can powder it if you want. You don't need to powder it. It works great on top of powder. A lot of concealers might crack, but I mean, all of these are perfect over powder, under powder. So yeah, Too Faced Born This Way, multi-use sculpting concealer. One of my favorites. I love it. This next concealer is a cream, but the reason why I didn't include it with the other palette is because it's very different. It is one of my absolute favorite concealers, the NARS Soft Matte Concealer. It's very underrated. You guys have to try it. It's very, very underrated. I don't know what to say. It blends almost like a liquid. It just covers everything up. It's perfect for acne, but it doesn't have that drying feel. It just blends into the skin. It's best used with a brush. A synthetic brush is perfect for this. I wouldn't really use this with a beauty blender, but I have done it. I've tried it with the beauty blender where you just tap over certain areas to add a bit more coverage, but this is what it looks like. I have gone through so many of these personally because I love using this for me. And I think this is a great concealer for men because you can use it just with your finger and just tap and blend. It blends so easily. And it's so easy to control the coverage of this. You can go really high coverage or you can go very natural, everyday, just tap it in. How much you apply is how much coverage you're gonna get. Now this doesn't come in all the NARS shades, but it comes in their iconic shades and it is a pretty good selection. So check out the shade range because you will find the shade that you absolutely love in NARS. I hope they bring out all the shades because I love toffee and I need it. The next concealer is Tarte Shape Tape. I feel like people go crazy over this concealer. It's such a good concealer. It has a huge fan base. So many people use it. You've seen it all over social media and Instagram, and for good reason. It is such an incredible concealer. It is more on the thicker side. It is very full coverage. It lifts, it brightens, it conceals. It does everything. So many people have tried to copy this concealer from the packaging to the applicator to the formula. I think nothing really compares to Shape Tape in its formula. Each one of these concealers are pretty unique. A lot of them do have a bit of similar qualities, especially the more thinner ones. But it is unique. But that being said, I don't particularly love this for everyday use, but it is in my top 3, of course, because it is such a standout concealer. For everyday use, I find it a bit thick. I find it a bit hard to wear on its own if you don't wear foundation or if you don't do like a full face. Whereas some of the other concealers, more of the thin ones, actually a lot of the other concealers, you can just put them on their own and kind of use them a bit as foundation and they'll blend into your skin very nicely, even if you don't have foundation all over. But with this one, I feel like it is a bit more of a glam concealer, and it comes in a ton of colors, so that's always a plus. I mean, this concealer doesn't crease, it doesn't budge, it stays on all day, but it doesn't feel drying, it doesn't feel like, even though it is full coverage, it doesn't feel heavy. It really is a standout. The next concealer that I'm gonna talk about is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. I only have 2 shades here, sorry. So yeah, I cannot say enough good things about this. This is such an incredible concealer. It's very thin, but has that amazing coverage. It lifts your under eyes, it brightens. I don't know how they made this so thin with such great coverage. It's just the right amount. It's perfect to use all over your face as foundation. I've talked about that before as well. So it's perfect for that. If you're looking for an everyday concealer, this is the one. This is the one I would recommend. They have extended the shade range. I don't know if they've added more, but check them out because they are very brightening and yeah, I mean, top concealers. Everyone that I know pretty much uses this and I kind of alternate back and forth. I always go back to this. It's something that I'll never kind of not use. And for my #1 all-time favorite concealer, I'm sure a lot of you know this. If you don't by now, come on. It is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. This concealer is my holy grail. It works on everyone. You can build it up, you can sheer it down. You don't need foundation with this. It works on a full beat. You can really layer it up. You can kind of do that full on triangle, or you can just dot it wherever you need, wherever you have darkness. I don't know. I mean, it just works. It works every single time. It's my go-to. It never fails me. It's always in my kit. I use it on all my clients. It works on everyone. The color selection is amazing. I think NARS generally nail color and nail undertones, and they really just know complexion. I go to them for complexion. And Mambo eyeliner, but that's a whole different topic. You can apply this with a brush, you can dab it with your fingers, you can use a beauty blender, all three work perfectly. So many of these concealers might work one way or another, like some of them work better with a sponge, some of them work better with a brush, but this one just works with whatever tool you're using. And it's one of the few concealers where I feel like if I'm dabbing it on myself and I'm just blending it with my fingers, it doesn't feel like I've kind of skipped on an application or I've been lazy. It just ends up looking the same. It looks perfect. It looks flawless. I can layer this very nicely. I can do 2-3 layers. I mix the colors all the time. Biscuit is a great peachy color correcting shade. My personal shade is toffee, but I get away with wearing ginger or custard or macadamia. Actually, custard is a bit too light for me, but ginger, macadamia, and toffee. Love, 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 love. And another good reason to try this is they've created minis of all their colors. So not just the popular ones, they've done them in all the colors. And I have the minis as well. I love them. They're so tiny. Such an iconic concealer. So many people have tried to copy this. I know it. I've seen it. I feel like it's a lot of people's holy grail and go-to. So check it out, please. So yeah, I'm gonna end that with my favorite. Alright guys, so that completes today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite videos to do. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, leave me a thumbs up and a comment down below. And I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.